Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. A short, lighthearted story by way of an introduction. Billy was 6 years old the year he asked his mother for a bicycle for Christmas. He explained it all to her. He said he knew that he would need to use training wheels for a little while, and that was fine. And he'd only ride it in the driveway and around their cul-de-sac where there was hardly ever any traffic. If she really insisted and thought it was necessary, he'd be happy to wear a helmet. His mother sighed and said, well, maybe you ought to ask Santa. And Billy did not like that one bit. The year that Billy was 5, he asked Santa for, just flew out of my head. He asked Santa for a puppy. And Christmas morning came and went, no puppy. Mom explained to him that Santa had thought about it carefully and decided that because both Mom and Dad worked, there wouldn't be anyone home to take care of the puppy. It wouldn't be fair. The year he was 4, Billy asked Santa for a cell phone. Both his parents had cell phones, and they talked on them a lot, and Billy figured that if he had a cell phone, maybe he could call his parents. Christmas morning came and went, no cell phone. His dad explained that Santa had thought about it and decided that 4 was too young for having a cell phone, maybe when he was 12, but that seems an awful long way away. So Billy was not going to put his faith in Santa. He'd been disappointed too many times. So he went upstairs to his room, he sat down in his bed and tried to think of what to do. And after a while, he had an idea. For the last few weeks, he had been rehearsing the Christmas pageant at church. He was going to be a shepherd. He was very excited about it. He got this cool robe and this funny little hat thing and this big stick with a hook on it that he knew he wasn't supposed to use to hit people with, but occasionally he would kind of sort of forget. They had only been going to church for a little while, something that he'd heard his mother tell his dad was a good idea for children. And he'd been learning in Sunday school a little bit about Jesus. And a couple weeks before, the teacher had told him about Jesus performing miracles, things like feeding 5,000 people with a few loaves and a couple of fish. So Billy thought maybe he would ask Jesus for a bicycle. He got out a piece of paper and a pencil and he wrote, "Dear Jesus," hoping he had spelled Jesus right. They didn't really talk about spelling in Sunday school, which was a relief because it seemed like that was all they ever talked about in regular school. He started his letter and he said, "Would you please get me a bike for Christmas?" Then he thought for a moment, he wondered if this was really appropriate. I mean, after all, this was Jesus' birthday, and shouldn't he be getting Jesus a present, not the other way around? But then he thought, well, it's also Christmas, everyone gives presents at Christmas. And he had learned in Sunday school this song, "Jesus loves me, this I know." And so he thought it was all right to ask Jesus for a bicycle. He continued his letter, "I have been good for 6 months." He looked at that, and then he crossed out 6 months, and he wrote 3 months. Then he remembered the fight he got into with his sister at Thanksgiving that landed him in timeout, so he crossed out the 3 months and he wrote 2 weeks. But then there was that incident at the last pageant rehearsal with the big stick with the hook. What to do? Finally, Billy got up and he went downstairs and made sure that his mom was busy in the kitchen. He quietly snuck into the family room where they had the nativity scene all set up. He carefully picked up the figure of Mary and quietly went back upstairs, opened up his dresser drawer, took out a t-shirt, wrapped Mary up in it, and tucked her under a pile of socks. He went back and sat at his desk, took out a clean sheet of paper, and he wrote, "Dear Jesus, if you ever want to see your mother again..." Poor Billy kind of gets it wrong, but he's not the only one. A lot of us get things wrong about Christmas. Once again, we've spent this month between Thanksgiving and Christmas arguing about saying Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas, fighting about nativity scenes in public spaces. We've bemoaned the over-commercialization of Christmas. We've been concerned when we see reports on TV of people trampling each other in order to save a few dollars on holiday gifts. And we've made our own resolutions about the holiday. We said we're going to spend less this year. We're going to just kind of keep keep things a little calmer, try and not get so stressed out and overwrought. We're going to not rise to the bait at the table when our relatives say things that we find offensive and bothersome. We're not going to engage in political conversations. We're not going to overindulge in the eggnog. We're not going to eat too much turkey. We're not going to eat too much cake. We're going to have a sane Christmas holiday. And yet, here we are, some of us, stressed out and frazzled and already undone by the holiday. And then there's the holiday itself. Christmas comes with a kind of time machine. It connects us with every other Christmas Eve that we have experienced. And like Scrooge, we are visited by the ghosts of Christmas past. We're visited by visions of people that we love but we don't see any longer. We're reminded of Christmas celebrations that in our memories seem happier and more joyful than this year's. And some of us just can't escape the suspicion that somehow we are not as happy this holiday as other people are. And we wonder what's wrong with us. There's no question that Christmas packs along. There's one thing, though, I think that we've all got right tonight, and that is that we're here in church. I know that we're here for a whole host of different reasons. Some of us are here because we want to sing Silent Night by candlelight and the other carols. Some of us are here because we want to see our children and grandchildren in the pageant. Some of us are here to hear the familiar words of the lesson from Isaiah, for a child has been born for us, a son given to us, authority rests upon his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Or the words from Luke's Gospel that we heard during the pageant. And she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no place for them in the inn. Some of us are here to say our prayers and to take communion. And some of us are searching for something that we really couldn't even put words to. We're looking for something on this holy night. So for whatever reason that you're here, I want to say welcome. And I hope that our worship provides some joy and peace. Now, of course, at heart, at base, the reason we're all here is that story we just saw so beautifully acted out by our young people. It's a familiar story. You know the details by heart, I'm sure. It's a story with its own stress and anxiety. I imagine Mary, 9 months pregnant, trudging the long journey from Nazareth to Bethlehem. It probably took 10 or so days. She is still trying to figure out what in the world the angel Gabriel said to her all those months ago. What did it mean? She's trying to figure out why it is that this has fallen on her. They arrive in Bethlehem. There's no room in the inn. She's getting panicked. She finally finds a place to lie down, and she gives birth. And as she cradles Jesus in her arms, and she looks at his tiny hands and feet, his smooth skin, his puckered little mouth, the fuzzy hair on his head, she finally gets it. She knows what the angel Gabriel was talking about all that time ago. She knows in a way that goes beyond words that this is a miracle, that Jesus is from God, that he is a gift of the very highest order. She knows that God is with her. A band of shepherds trudges in, kind of smelly and dirty, and they tell her what the angel said. And Luke tells us that Mary treasured all these words and pondered them in her heart. And she carries this one little miracle with her through the rest of her life. It carries her through feedings at 3 a.m. It carries her through Jesus' terrible twos and his awful rebellious teenage years. It carries her through when Jesus starts his public ministry, which takes him to far-off lands and to dangerous situations. It carries her even to the foot of the cross. This one little miracle is all Mary needs. A couple weeks ago, a friend of mine gave me a book called The Brain, The Story of You by David Eagleman. He's a neuroscientist, and he writes about how our brains develop and work, and I found it absolutely fascinating. We are born with 86 billion neurons in our brain. They're the same neurons you're going to have your entire life, but when you're born, The newborn brain, those neurons are disconnected. They're kind of floating around. They're not communicating with one another. But as soon as you open your eyes and you see your parents' faces and you hear them cooing at you, and you start reaching out for things, and you smell things, and you eat things, those neurons start making tens of thousands of connections with each other called synapses. It is those connections that make you you. All of your emotions, your personality, the way you respond to the world about you, everything that makes you you is as a result of those connections. Each one of us, each one of our brains, has made about a quintillion connections that are unique to us. That's 1 followed by 15 zeros. No one else has ever been. No one else is now. No one else will ever be you. You are a once-in-a-lifetime, unique, one-of-a-kind, never to be repeated child of God. And if that's not enough of a miracle for you, consider this. When God chose to come into the world to share what it means to be fully human, God chose to come in the most humble and ordinary way possible. Jesus was born with his 86 billion neurons. His parents had their 86 billion neurons. And God saw all of them and all of you and all of us as precious, as blessed, and filled with meaning and worth. Maybe those are enough miracles to carry you through the anxious, dark times in life. And maybe these don't resonate with you in the same way they do with me. That's okay. I invite you in the next couple days to find a moment of quiet and cast your mind back over your life and see if you can't remember some of what David Brooks calls those magical moments of wonder, moments of clearest consciousness, moments that suggested a dimension of existence beyond the everyday, moments that pointed to something outside of yourself, moments that defined your ability to rationally understand or comprehend. Moments like the birth of your child or grandchild, seeing them say their first word, graduate from high school, get married. A moment of being outside and somehow the sunlight is coming through the trees in just the perfect way, and you stand in awe at the beauty and wonder of our planet. A piece of music that pierces your heart in an unexpected way and touches your soul in a way that you didn't think was possible. The beginning of a relationship, or watching your bride walk down the aisle. Conversations with loved ones as they approach death. That sense of deep gratitude you felt in response to an unexpected and undeserved gift. These are all God moments. They are God with us moments. They're fleeting. We can easily forget them. But if we can hold on to them, if we can treasure them and ponder them in our hearts, they have the power to point us to what really matters. They have the power to lead us to God. I pray that this Christmas season we may all have a God with us moment. I pray that we will treasure and ponder in our hearts the God with us moments in our lives. I pray that we will learn to live and move and have our